Southeast Missouri head coach Tom Matukewicz, the Red Hawks, they got a Brickyard victory, number 17, Southern Illinois, 34-31, now 1-1 in the season. They'll host Nichols, the Southland Conference opponent, on Saturday. So, Coach, just some thoughts on the win last Saturday first.
A lot of fun. Our players and staff really wanted that, and it was great to come away with that victory. I think it was a true team win. Defensively played well in the first half, held them to 10. Offensively, had some big time drives in the fourth quarter. And then special teams wise, we kicked 2 field goals over 45 yards. And so complete team victory. And now we're ready to turn the page.
All right, we'll go to some questions. I see Tom has questions. Jake, do you have a question too? I'll let you go first if you do. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, Coach, just to start out, you look at what Paxton's done over the first 2 games, I think a 5-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. What have you liked out of your starting quarterback over the first 2 weeks of the season?
Decision making, like you said, I always tell them all the time, no matter how bad it is, you can make it worse. And so if it's a bad play, he doesn't end up just all of a sudden costing us a game or something like that. He's just been really good with decision making.
I think when we spoke last week, you mentioned, coming into the SIU game, you were banged up a little bit and you were more focused on what you were going to do than what they were going to do. How much of that came into play this past Saturday?
We ended up getting back pretty healthy. We still made a bunch of mental mistakes on defense, and several of those guys didn't practice a lot because of the health issue. And so I still feel like there should be a pretty good jump on defense at some point this year. And hopefully we get there soon.
You look at that game and it was such a back and forth game. I know as a coach, you've been in so many of those games where it comes right down to the wire. What's it like as a coach who's coached for, dozens of years to know that it's all going to come down to the final 30 or 15 seconds of a ball game?
I mean, I wish I could sit here and tell you that I'm mature and that winning doesn't matter and all these type of things, but it does. And I think that's the message for everybody. I mean, literally, we made one more play than them. If they make one more play, then we feel like they feel, and vice versa. And so, we need to understand as a football program that we can't let it get to a situation where it's that close in a 1-score game and all those type of things. We just got to continue to play better. But ultimately, when both teams are talented, sometimes it does come down to who has the ball last.
To get the wheel back, I know you mentioned it was something that you guys all wanted. How has this week been different after winning the wheel?
Well, I must be getting softer as I get older because the kids talked me into giving them the wheel after the game and letting them take it out on the town. So I had it fumigated and some Lysol, and no telling what filth it saw Friday or Saturday night. But this is a rival, and we wanted to make it into a big deal. And sometimes you do get your heart broken and you get blown out like we did a year ago, and then it's just feels so good to get it back. And it means a lot to our community and our region. Like, we're a Division I institution in this region. There's pride that goes along with that, and I know SIU is prideful too, and they don't want to lose to SEMO.
And now week 3, you get to come home for the first time. How excited is this team to open up its season in front of home fans?
Thank you, because one of my keys to victory is we have played well at home, and there's been a standard here that my team needs to understand. Like, at one point we won 18 straight in Houck, and we're at a pivotal moment of this program. Like, we are trying to fundraise, and this is millions to change the face of not only SEMO football, but this whole institution, this region, downtown, everything. And we need to win at home, and we need to keep the standard going that we don't lose at home. And we play well in Hauk, and it does matter. There are people there, there are influential people that make decisions, all those type of things, and we need to make sure people feel good about investing in our program. And so that's one of my main focuses is to make sure that we honor those players that came before us that made that standard from nothing, and we keep that standard going here.
And looking at, your week 3 opponent, what do you guys know about them? I think you've only met twice, but it might have been back in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, it's been really, really fun. I think the challenge is everybody's going to ask my players, what do you think of Nichols? And number one is you don't know, because you don't have any reference points. You don't know the team they're playing. You really don't know their talent level. Like, film is what it is. And so, but Nichols is a name. It is a blue blood FCS program. They have, I think, 10 returning preseason all-conference players. I mean, so they got good team. I think people will look, well, they're 0-2, and that's how that's what fans do, right? That makes no sense. We'd be 0-2 if we played 2 FBS teams. So really, their season starts, and the only thing we did on Saturday was put a target on our back. And I guarantee you we're going to get Nichols best. But again, our focus can't be on Nichols. Our focus still has to be on our process and problem solving and how we continue to get better.
Thanks for the time, Coach.
You bet.
Tom Davis, you're up. Go ahead, sir.
Well, Coach, I do know that Nichols is 0-2, but they also have had winning seasons 5 years in a row. So it's no joke. And what do you think of this alliance with the Southland Conference?
It was what you had to do. We really didn't have a lot of options, and so you make the best of it. It's great matchups. But ask Nichols when they get off the bus after a 9-hour drive.
Yeah, that's true. But what goes around comes around.
And then ask me after I get off my 9-hour bus ride to Northwestern.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
If we were closer, it's a no-brainer. But the stress that causes, and all of that is significant.
Okay. From 11 o'clock Saturday night to when you practiced at maybe 3 o'clock Monday, how do you reset the mindset of your 19, 20, 21-year-old athletes to okay, that was awesome, but that's not going to help us today in practice? How do you kind of shift that mindset?
Well, number one, I spend all off season making sure they understand how to be successful and what wins and that process. And so hopefully we can rely back on that, but we all are human. Our human nature is going against us right now. And so everybody's going to be talking about how good you are, and you want to go back. You want to relive and re-enjoy such a beautiful moment, but that's not going to help you. And ultimately that's not the mission. It was something to accomplish on the way. We had always in the past stopped and had a brick ceremony. So during the week, we would lay a brick for that win, and I'm not doing that this year.
Why is that?
Because one of my keys to victory is turn the page. Well, I'm not turning the page if I start laying a brick for SIU on a Tuesday, when really we should be talking about Nichols on Tuesday.
Right.
And so after the season, though, we will stop and smell the roses. We will put it up, and we will relive that memory. But our program has gotten to a point where, when I was early on, we had to stop and celebrate it because it just didn't happen that much.
Yeah.
Now it's a little different. And so changed my mind. We were going to do it today at 2. And then last night, after thinking about it, I nixed it because we just have to have discipline. We have to hold each other accountable to not be talking about SIU. And we need to be talking about Nichols. And the thing I told my players is just be excited to practice today. Mm-hmm. If you can get yourself really excited about a Tuesday practice and the opportunity to improve and prepare so we can play well at home, that's going to lead to a good Saturday. And so that's just the mentality that got to have. And it's tough, and I'm going to earn my pay. You know, it's pretty easy to get them motivated for SIU. Now, when there's that emotional high, sometimes there's that valley drop from being so emotionally drained, and so we'll have to see how that unfolds.
Well, I've got some more, but Kyle, wave me if
Go
gotta-
ahead. I got
gotta
time
go.
for one or two more.
Okay, the run game. I don't think the run game's been bad. I know that you probably don't think it's been where you want it to be, but what do you need to do to elevate the run game a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I think key to victory is just executing a run game. I think we say and we tell it, and I tell everybody, hey, we have balance, but in reality, we don't right now. And so we got to do a better job. And I think it's basically focus and fundamentals that we got to get going. Iowa State, you can just kind of throw out because that was some mismatches, and we just wanted to see what we had at quarterback. But SIU at times played light box and had success, and so we got to make sure we shore that up.
Special teams, obviously your field goal kickers having a nice season, and your punter is as good as there is in the country. So when you talk about you want your special teams to improve, are you talking about the coverage, or are you talking about the return game? What are you talking about exactly?
Return game.
Okay, so what do you want to see?
So our
from that?
coverage units are solid, but and every game's different, so it depends on their kickers. You kick it, touchbacks and things like that, but I think Dalen is a weapon. He's a really skilled player, but we haven't seen it because we haven't got him going yet. And so that's probably what I'm talking about when you hear me say that.
Okay. All right. Thanks for your patience, Kyle. I appreciate your time.
No,
both
hey,
of you.
thanks for getting on, Tom, and appreciate that. And Jake and Coach, appreciate your time. Congratulations last week. Good luck on Saturday, and we'll talk to you next week.
Sounds great.